Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're gonna talk about Sony FX3. So let's dive right into it. Well, this camera FX3 is basically entry-level body for cinema lineup of Sony. Basically, Canon and Sony, both of them, they have their dedicated video lineup. For example, Canon has their C series lineups, Sony have FX series lineups. So this FX3 is an entry-level system. Basically, if you want to get into Sony cinema equipments and you don't have too much money, this will be your boy. Now, what's the selling point of this? This is a full frame camera. So if you need depth of field of a full frame system, this puppy can provide. This is a 4K system, not a 8K, not 6K, 4K system. It does do 10-bit 422 without any issue. So it's a really good system. Now, what's the other aspects of this camera that makes it so unique? The idea is it's very small and compact. So if you want to do something where you have to put a very high-end camera on a very small space, specifically, let's say inside a car, inside a vehicle, things of that nature, where you need a small cinema camera, this camera will suffice. And this targeted price is less than $4,000. Now, at the moment of recording, I do not find any exact, like this is like some places is saying 3,500, some places is saying 3,800. So price is not absolute, and given the fact that an Indian website is flat out saying available soon rather than exact price, so I'm sorry about that, but like price supposed to be under $4,000. Now, what are the features of this? Well, this is A7S3. So imagine A7S3 with 3 tally lights. Now, one tally light is on top. Now, you may be like, why the heck you need tally light on top? Think of this, many times videos are shot what we call in hip height. So basically, you are laying the camera like this. So having a tally light on top, that's awesome. Having huge tally light on the back, awesome. Having a small tally light in front, not as good, but at least better than zero. Specifically for people like me, having a tally light will give us the absolute definite guaranteed system is like, yes, this puppy is recording, which is a compulsory in video world. So that's one thing is there. Another aspect is many people live in a very hot climate. For example, I do. Like at this point in time, the outside temperature is already exceeding 35 degrees Celsius and it's not even full-fledged summer yet. And I easily stay in a place where outside temperature can easily touch 50 degrees Celsius. While A7S3 is really good with its thermal management, it's not designed to operate in those sort of environment. Or a more likely scenario rather than hot outdoor environment is more likely scenario you want to do something high endurance wise. For example, you do a podcast, but your camera keeps running for let's say 4 hours or 5 hours, which there are many podcasts nowadays where people are stretching that kind of limit. Heck, my friend Pandey, he also runs his live streaming runs for that long. So in those sort of scenario, if you need full frame camera, if you need quality 4K and you want to be damn sure that your camera will keep recording, you need something cine end that is designed to endure that kind of abuse, so to say. So having a heat sink is precious enough. Like for those people who need long-term endurance, basically like 5-6 hours daily, or heck even longer than that, they will be happy with this. Can you achieve similar thing with A7S3? Yes, but you will be rolling the dice, and if it's a serious production environment, you will be like, dude, I'll pay more for this. So for many people, that alone is the primary reason of bike. Then we have multiple mounting points. Now the chassis has been redesigned. It does look like A7S3, but it has been redesigned. So core is completely different. So it has multiple mounting points. Now what's the use of that? That's up to you. If you want to mount a top handle, you can do that. If you want to mount a side V-mount battery, you can do that. If you mount a basically viewfinder, a large view screen, you can do that. And for those things, generally people have to buy cages. This has inbuilt cages with like a cinema body, so that's important enough where if you have enough stuff stuck on your camera where it becomes unwieldy or unusable, this puppy, for many people, that may alone be the reason. Is like, dude, it has mounting points, shut up and take my money. Then it has a one weird function where it's like the toggle which does on or off has power zoom control. Now that may feel odd because this is like how old point and zoom camera used to work, but the reason for this is like Sony does have E-series lenses that have that functionality. Like they have their video lineups and all that jazz, but E-series lenses also have these. Now in power zoom lenses, generally you have the toggle on the lens itself. Now that's acceptable if you are doing shoulder based system or like something like this. But if you want a much more precise control or control somewhere else rather than on the lens itself, having that option is priceless. For many people, that convenience is like, dude, that's awesome for me. Now I do not see wide appeal in this, but there may be enough people out there that's like, dude, I'm loving this basically Sony lenses that have power zoom, but I don't like the idea that knob is here. I want somewhere on the body. I can understand that. So there are enough minor different features in this. Now, the first thing you have to understand, this is A7S3. So what is the difference between FX3 and A7S3? Well, short answer, nothing. It's just like a same core. You take the same sensor, same processor, everything same, and you just put it inside a different chassis with some blinking lights. So fundamentally speaking, on an electronic level, there has not been much changes. It's just like more or less exactly the same. Now, if you have to choose between these two, if you buy A7S3, you will save a lot of money. Now that money can be spent on buying CFast cards, because this does utilize a weird basically type A cards which are not mass produced yet. It may become the dominant in the future, but right now it's very expensive and very limited, so that you may want to spend your money there. Or more versatile, because it has the electronic viewfinder. Now you're like, why does videographer need that? Well, try to do videography in broad daylight. Good luck with that on that tiny screen. Now again, if you are used to like having like 5-inch or 6-inch giant display where you may want to invest in the case, that at that point in time FX3 looks a much more appealing option to you, then it's for you. But for most people, having a viewfinder is more than good enough for daytime shooting, and does give the luxury of having 3 points of contact: one your eye, one your hand, another is your another hand. So for many people, for most of the time, A7S3 is more versatile, and A7S3 really does not suffer from overheating issue. And if you are doing indoor long-term podcast, you do have the luxury of air conditioning, and you can just cool it down too much. And people have endured stress tested these things, and they last a long time. And if you really want to stress this thing and you don't want to worry about it, just put a external battery power utilizing dummy batteries. It will remain cool as hell. So you can do almost 99% of things with this, and it is more versatile, it is more cheap. So flat out, why would you want to buy FX3? Short answer, there is only 1 or 2 cases where it can be truly justified, where you may be like, hey, I need to have that, like, let's say my everyday day-to-day recording is like 3 to 8 hours long. You may want that, I can understand that. So there are many YouTuber streamers who are doing that. There are many other places where we may want to do that kind of thing. You may want that cooling fan, you may want tele light, but tele light is very small addition, does not justify the cost. Removing electronic viewfinder and then selling it as an extra add-on for $400, that's like that's be spicy. So fundamentally, A7S3 is far better purchase for most of the people. Only for some niche case scenario where you need that long endurance that you get by utilizing a cooling fan is worth it. Otherwise, not really. Now, if you see the basically perception of this camera at this point in time, it does not make sense to anyone, and I mean anyone. For all those people who have this camera in their hand, it does not make that much sense. It's like, it's a good camera by all definition, this is a really good camera, but it does not make sense because they removed the EVF. Now EVF that Sony was utilizing in A7S3 was really high end, so it was expensive equipment. They removed expensive equipment and then the price went up. It's like, what the hell? So that does not make sense, and it does not have timestamp or gen lock. Now this flat out rejects it out of most likely this camera will not get approved for Netflix series. Now for a cinema lineup, that's you may like, hey dude, not everybody cares about it, but like, you can understand it. You are buying a cinema equipment, you should not think about these things. So for example, Panasonic released a box camera with micro four thirds system. Now it does not have amazing autofocus, so there is no discussion in autofocus. But if you can live with manual focus and you want to use gimbals and things of that nature, you may be like, hey, I have timecode. Now for many people, timecode is like necessary. It has to be there. It's not optional, it has to be there. In many production where timecode is compulsory, so having timecode is awesome. And this basically Panasonic box camera, which is only $2,000, it has one step ahead. It has gen lock. Now gen lock is got tier, like gen lock is so advanced tech that Sony, if you like, dude, what is the difference between FX5 and FX9? Gen lock. Gen lock, they remove it. And like, what, that's the same thing is done by Canon also. Canon is also like, gen lock will only give you in high series, C series. If you buy the cheapest CC, we'll give you timestamp because that is compulsory. But gen lock, we are like, dude, gen lock, bro. Gen lock. Now gen lock, if you want to do basically VR, you want to do 360 videos, you have to have gen lock, otherwise good luck. So for those people, it's a compulsory kind of scenario, and in the broadcasting world, it will not work without gen lock. So there is an importance for gen lock, but timestamp is a must in video camera if you want to do any professional work. Even Canon C70 has that. So that does not make any sense why the heck Sony did not add that, because the moment they added that, flat out made were like, dude, shut up and take my money. I need timecode, I need all the video function, and given the fact that it has cooling fan, I do not have to ever worry about it overheating. Shut up and take my money. That would have made it awesome. But the fact they do not have timecode in, the fact they do not have gen lock, like, again, I get it, like gen lock is a bigger brother of timecode, but it's like, they should have at least timecode. At least timecode would have made it worthwhile, because without a timecode, it's like, really, A7 S3 is like more than enough. Just use dummy battery and a cooling fan. You will achieve the same results. So, and it still would be cheaper. So fundamentally, it does not make sense. That's why the response of this camera is like, what? Why? It's like, it's a really bad Samsung strategy of just like splattering hundreds of models rather than making few good ones. It's really bad. So this was my presentation on Sony FX3. I hope you liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.